Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Reagan and this is my channel, Ray Reads. And today I'm going to be doing dark romance book recommendations. Yeah. Before we get started, I just wanted to say, if you're not already subscribed to me, make sure to do so if you'd like. I post bookish content every Sunday and Wednesday, and yeah, it's pretty fun around here. Join the fam, it's a great time. Also, I do have a really quick announcement before I actually jump into this real video. So I'll be celebrating 1 year on BookTube on May 5th. It is my BookTube birthday, as some people call it, and I cannot believe I've already been on YouTube for almost a whole year, and I'm not even gonna start talking about it right now because we're just gonna save that for that video. But I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing a Q&A for that to celebrate, and I've only ever done one Q&A on my channel before, and it was when I hit 500 subscribers, and now we're like almost at 4K. So there's a lot more of you guys around here who might not know certain things about me, and you might have some burning questions. So I wanted to do a Q&A so you guys can ask me those things. So with that being said, you are welcome to drop questions in the comment box of this video. Just make sure to preface that it's for that video, so you could just put Q&A and then write your question. That way I know not to just answer it in the comments, but that I know to save it for my Q&A video. But this can be anything bookish. It can be any questions about bookish related content. It can be more personal questions just about me and my personal life. It can be about teaching. It can be about getting married. It can be about literally anything. I'm an open book, so please feel free to ask me whatever you want, whatever your heart desires. But you can use the comments of this video to ask me the questions. You can also click on my channel and click on the community tab, and there will be a post about the Q&A so that you guys can ask questions there. And then you can also DM me on Instagram at some point whenever you want, or you can DM me on Twitter. Both are at Ray Reads, I believe. I know my Instagram is at Ray Reads. I'm pretty sure my Twitter is the same, but it'll all be linked down below if you want access to that. You can DM me those questions. You can comment them on my pictures, whatever. Just make sure to preface that it is for the Q&A so that I know why you're asking me that question. So anyways, I'm really excited to celebrate, but I just wanted to throw that out there. If you do have a burning question, drop it in the comments or the community tab or Twitter or Instagram. You know the deal. And then that video will be up on May 5th. So I'm super duper excited about that, and I'm excited to be celebrating with you guys. So yeah. All right, without further ado, let's just get into this video. So if you guys don't already know, if you haven't been around here very long, dark romance is one of my favorite genres. It's like a sub-genre of romance, but there's a lot of sub-genres of dark romance, if that makes sense. So you have like Mafia romance, or you have like motorcycle club romance, or you have like vampire romance. All of these different sub-genres can also be really dark, and so they kind of just fall under this dark romance umbrella. And so some of these are going to be a little bit of that, a lot of different sub-genres under the dark romance umbrella, but that might be really confusing for you. If so, I'm really sorry, but I just wanted to kind of preface that. I also want to say this is a dark romance book recommendations video, so if you do not like dark romance, please do not take these and read them, because I can guarantee you, you will not like them. So that's my warning. I'm not going to warn after each and every single one of these books that this is a dark book, because obviously it's a dark book. So if you have any trigger warnings or anything, or sensitivity to anything, please don't go into these books blind. I really recommend looking up the trigger warnings. I'm not going to go through every single one for every single book, because there is probably a very long list, so I'm not going to do that. But if you are interested in any of these books, please make sure to check for trigger warnings before you go into them blindly. They are really heavy. They deal with very disturbing topics and very heavy topics, so I just want you guys to be aware of that, but I'm not going to say it again. So that is the blanket statement for this video. These are dark books. So if you guys are ready, let's get into it. So I'm pretty sure I said this in another recommendation video, but it would not be a recommendation video without at least one Colleen Hoover book. And Colleen Hoover doesn't really write dark romance, but she does have one book that she wrote under C. Hoover. And if there's a glare because this is a weird copy, but it's called Too Late by Colleen Hoover, C. Hoover as it's written underneath, because I don't think she wanted it like attached to her real name, but it definitely is like on Goodreads and stuff. So Anyways, weird. But this book is about a girl named Sloane who is dating a guy named Asa because she has to do everything she can to like protect her family. And I don't really remember all the details, but I'm pretty sure her sister is like special needs, I believe. And so she's like trying to like send money to her sister so she can stay in this like home, I believe. I could be mixing two different stories, but I'm pretty sure that's the basis for this. So she's dating this guy Asa who has like literally runs like a drug ring. And this takes place in college and they're both like seniors, I think. And he's a dealer, he deals drugs, and he just like is really toxic and really bad. She lives with him, all of his druggy friends are always over, and her life is like constantly put at risk and he's terrifying. And then she finally meets a guy named Carter, and little do we know, or well, we know, but she doesn't know, that he's actually an undercover cop trying to bust Asa and like his ring. And so she starts to fall for Carter, and that's kind of where the story takes off. And it's really intense, it's really good. Colleen Hoover talks about this book like it is one of the darkest books ever. Like she's like, don't go into this like blindly. Like she talks about it like it's super dark. I personally think this is like child's play compared to the rest of the books in this video, but it is pretty dark. It's just a little more like intense than it is more like disturbing dark. It's kind of like when you watch Breaking Bad and you're like almost like having an anxiety attack because the guy's like almost always getting caught, and so you're constantly like on the edge of your seat. So Sloane and Carter are like almost always getting caught by Asa, and it's terrifying because it's not like if he catches them together he'll break up with her, he would like kill her and him very violently. So it is a little dark and it is a little scary, but it is really, really good and really intense, and the ending was really intense too. So if that sounds up your alley, definitely pick this one up. I love the cover of this, and also I won this signed postcard by Colleen Hoover with the alternate cover on here that says Too Late, and I'm obsessed with it. So it stays in this book. I'd love to frame it one day and put it in my future library, but anyways, that's Too Late. The next book that I have is actually a recent read of mine, and it is Raise by Tilly Cole. This is a double book with Raise and Reap inside of it. I haven't read Reap yet, but I have read Raise, and Raise is about a guy named Raise, if that's not obvious enough, and he was sent to this like fighting ring when he was like 14 or 15 and forced to fight like other 14, 15-year-old boys to the death. And so he basically just becomes this like trained killer, and it's really intense, and he like forgets about his past. Like he's almost like brainwashed into forgetting who he was, that he just knows that he's like basically a killer. And alternately, in another plot line, we follow Kisa, who is a part of the, I don't know what mafia ring, what I think it's the Russian mafia. Yeah, it is the Russian Bratva. Her father's like the leader of that, and she is betrothed to this other guy in that. Anyway, she meets Raise, and they kind of like strike up this like kind of relationship, and he is out seeking revenge for somebody. And I don't even know how else to explain this, but he's just like really messed up, and he's just a fighter, and he just wants to kill people basically, and he's like really scary. But anyways, it's kind of their romance, and it is really intense. It's really good, but if you like fighting and kind of that like gritty actiony, this is definitely for you. Again, it is super dark because there are some disturbing things that happen in here, and it is really explicit and stuff, but it is really good, and it was just an enjoyable read for me, honestly. Not my favorite Tilly Cole book, but definitely a really good one. Next up is one of my absolute favorites, and that is These Monstrous Ties by KV Rose. This book was a book that I read at the very beginning of this year, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be one of my favorites of 2021. I love this book so much. It really is one of the darkest romance books I've ever read. It's very disturbing, and it's just the first one in the series, and the second one kind of continues on with it, so they're both extremely dark, but I loved it so much. So let me explain. This book follows a guy named Lucifer and a girl named Lilith. I think that's how you say her name, and I'm pretty sure that's not like her real name. That's just the nickname that he gives her. I just can't remember her real name. So basically, Lilith sets out one night on like Halloween night or something, and she's on her way to, I'm pretty sure she's going on her way to go commit suicide. And while she's crossing the street, she runs into Lucifer, and he's like, come with me to my party tonight, and she goes with him. And I don't remember what the night is called, but it's like it's not Devil's Night, that's a Penelope Douglas book, but it's similar to Devil's Night where they do like really crazy, creepy, weird stuff, and it's like on Halloween night. And so So anyways, she just gets sucked up into this world and something really bad happens. And then a year later we see her and she is out seeking revenge against Lucifer for what he did to her a year ago and what happened on that night. And so you're kind of following the storyline, trying to figure out what happened on that night for her to hate him so much and like want to find revenge and seek revenge on him. But anyways, it is so good, really kind of disturbing at some points, but definitely so intense, so good. If you love dark romance, you need to pick this up. I saw on Goodreads that 5 out of like all my friends have read it, and then there's like 25 people that I'm friends with that want to read it, and I just want to tell all those 25 people, if you're watching this right now, go read it. It's so good. Next up is a book that I don't think I've talked a lot about on this channel, and that is Enthralled by Gianna Darling. I think I did talk about this in one video, but it could have just been a wrap up. But this book is exquisite. It's so good. So basically this book is about a girl named Cosima, and she basically gets like sold to this man Alexander and kind of just becomes his, like, I don't even think like sold to him as his wife, like just sold to him like as a plaything basically, which is just horrible to say. But she gets sold to him, I'm pretty sure by her father, to repay a debt that he owed Alexander. And it is super dark. The first couple chapters were really rough for me. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get through this, just because I was like, this is horrible, but it ended up being so good. So she gets sent off to Alexander's like literal palace. Like he just has this huge house, estate thing, and she ends up moving in with him, not under great circumstances at the beginning. And she kind of just has to like do what she can to survive because she's in really bad circumstances. Anyways, that's kind of like the whole premise of the story. It really doesn't sound like a lot, but it is really, really good. And there's a lot of like just moving pieces and moving parts, and it was very enjoyable. I gave this book 4 stars, so if that sounds at all interesting to you, you should definitely pick this one up. Next up is a book that I just recently read, and that is Bound by Honor by Cora Riley. This book follows a girl named Aria who is a part of the Mafia. I don't even know which one, if it's like the New York or the, I don't know. She's a part of some mafia, and she basically gets sold to marry this like really scary mafia guy named Luca, and he is like super cold and distant. So she moves in with him after they get married, and it kind of just follows their relationship as they're adjusting to this arranged marriage basically. And it was just really cute, really steamy, but also really dark. I don't want to just pretend like this is light and sweet because it's definitely dark, considering the fact that it is an arranged marriage. There is really uncomfortable conversations, and definitely dark with the fact that it is mafia. So there's like a lot of killing and just a lot of brutalness and violence, but it was very enjoyable for me. Luca is one of my favorite male characters in that series, and so this was just a first great book in the series, a great one to kickstart you into mafia if you never have before. It really introduces the different topics and the different things that go along with mafia. So I definitely enjoyed this one, and I think you might too if you kind of like that arranged marriage, forced proximity trope. That's very, very evident in this story. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As always, make sure to check the description box below for all access to my social media and my Goodreads. Make sure to follow me there to keep up with what I'm reading. And as always, my Amazon wish list if you wish to support me there. As always, I wish you guys the best week ever, and I love you so very much. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see